in front of me, this is the scene at Lodi. Law enforcement officials on scene right now.
Okay, imagine you're at your house where you feel safe. The next thing you know, the police or any emergency service is on the street telling everyone that there's been a disaster and you must evacuate. And you have just minutes to do so. Motorcycle enthusiasts, preppers, get ready. This one is going to be interesting. I've been thinking about this video for some time now. It's a mixture of my love for motorcycles and my prepper mindset, and Hurricane Ian that just ravaged Florida really got me to sit down and work on it. So here's the question. In an emergency evacuation situation, are you going to take a vehicle or your motorcycle? You can choose the disaster. I don't want to lock it in with one possible disaster. And let's say we're looking at an evacuation area of somewhere in the area of 150 miles. And to my preppers, this is a no shelter in place option. You have to evacuate. For some reason, I always gravitate towards the zombie apocalypse, but you can choose anything you want. Now, I know there will be pros and cons to both of these, and we're going to talk about all of them. But let's start with this. In order for the motorcycle to even be a possibility, certain criteria must be met. Number one, it can only be you and one other person. A motorcycle can only carry 2 people. So if it's you and a bunch of kids and pets, etc., you're looking at a vehicle. Number 2, you have a mechanically sound motorcycle that you trust on long distances. And number 3, you're outfitted for camping off the bike, and you have practiced with that gear. Now, I realize you don't need camping gear to evacuate an area, but you have to think, you don't know how slow that evacuation route is going to be. And in a vehicle, you could just pull over and sleep. On a motorcycle, you have to have the right gear to be self-contained. So now let's take a look at that first video clip. So here we have a mother and her kids, and you see this fire is closing in on this development. And I have to give her a lot of credit. She seems to be the only one in this complex that's packing up her vehicle and getting ready to get out of Dodge. Then you see her neighbor come running over to the mother, looking for advice of what to do. But before she even gets there, you hear the man yell to evacuate. And she screams and she runs off. And lastly, there is some man or woman wandering around in black shorts, staring at the helicopter dumping water on the fire, and is unable to move, unable to act. And this is why preppers prep. They simply do not want to be a deer in the headlights. This video also shows how little time you may have in an evacuation. Now let's take a look at how horribly wrong an evacuation can unfold.
Southeast Texas, so there was a huge evacuation, the biggest in U.S. history. 3 million people leaving the coastline and moving up into the central part of Texas. And the result was a terrible traffic jam. There were reports of people traveling 13 miles, and it took 15 hours to do that. So predictably, people ran out of gas. And when they ran out of gas, they had no air conditioning. And then suddenly in 100-degree heat, you got heat exhaustion as a problem. And in the end, of the 120 people that were killed by Rita, 100 of them were killed by the evacuation, unfortunately.
All right, Ben Dietz checking back in, South Lake Tahoe. I may have to do this quickly, but I wanted to give you a look at the scene here as the traffic is just absolutely out of control. People fleeing the Caldor fire. As you can see in front of me, this is the scene at Lodi. Law enforcement officials on scene right now. And going back, it's just as bad, and it goes for quite some time.
Okay, let's get it on. Motorcycle versus vehicle. I came up with 6 main areas of importance. If you come up with more, please, by all means, put it in my comment section. Okay, number 1, security. Winner, vehicle. I have to give security to the vehicle. You obviously have better security with locked metal doors for many reasons during an evacuation if you're in a vehicle. Number 2, storage. Winner, vehicle. You can load a hell of a lot of gear, food, and water in a vehicle. Number 3, range. Winner, vehicle. You can store a lot of extra fuel, which will get you further down the road in an evacuation. And depending on the disaster, you may not even be able to obtain gas. And just when it looked like it was going to be a blowout, number 4, egress. Winner, motorcycle. Egress is one of the motorcycle's superpowers. You can cut straight through gridlock traffic like shot through a gun. It's not legal in all states, but in an emergency situation, I'll be doing it. Number 5, different terrains. Winner, motorcycle. I can ride my touring bike on sidewalks, light trails, walking paths, places a vehicle can't go, getting me further down the road. Number 6, stealth. Winner, motorcycle. The motorcycle may not have the security that the vehicle offers, but it has stealth. You can stealth camp in many off the beaten paths, getting you further down the road. And you can also roll your motorcycle out of an area before starting it if you have a loud bike, letting no one know you were even there. And we have a tie, 3-3. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to comment on the channel with your thoughts and see if we get a tie break with something that maybe I'm not thinking of. Those that comment, this is the question. Is it the security and storage ability of the vehicle, or the ease of egress, terrain, and stealth of the motorcycle? And lastly, let's talk about both of their kryptonites. The motorcycle's kryptonite would be snow and icy conditions. Not rain, however. Even though a lot of bikers opt to not ride in the rain, it is totally possible with some of the right rain gear. As for the vehicle, its kryptonite would be gridlock traffic. And unfortunately, this is something you're going to definitely hit in an evacuation. And it's for this reason that a prepper friend of mine said that the motorcycle should get 2 points for its egress ability. However, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to keep it at 1 point apiece, and we'll keep it at the tie and see what we get in the comments. No matter whether you choose the vehicle or the motorcycle, you should have your gear organized and ready to go at a moment's notice. And here's an example of what I do. Okay, for this video, I'm going to have all my stuff on the floor. It would usually be on a shelf in my closet, but just to give you an idea of how your stuff should be organized and ready to go at a moment's notice. So these are called pannier insert bags, and you can see what's in these bags in my Motorcycle Camping Gear 2022, which I'll link below. But mainly it's camping gear, cook stove, stuff, toiletry bag, stuff like that. This is a 60-liter dry bag, which goes on the pillion seat. Mainly we'll have clothes, jackets, and shoes. Then you have over here my sleeping bag, tent, air mattress, pillow, and helmet. And all this gear that you just saw is everything that goes on my bike on a camping trip, whether it's 1 night or 100 nights. You'll just have to wash clothes after 5 nights and get more food. But this is it. This is everything. Right here, I can, at a moment's notice, grab it, put it on the bike, and be out the door probably within 10 minutes or so. Security is always an issue, I feel, on the bike. If you can carry a gun legally, great, do so. If not, here are some other options. You have bear mace in the far left, which, believe it or not, is one-hand operation. If it's opposite of your throttle hand, it can be pulled out of its holster with one hand and sprayed almost 20 feet. To the right of that is the K-bar I carry. It's law enforcement fixed blade, pull out and stab. To the right of that is an old school blackjack with a lead top. To the right of that is a spring-assisted opening blade. And to the right of that is a window breaker with a point. Pretty simple, but it's a security device as well. Let me know in the comments what everybody else carries other than a gun. I'd be interested to see. Obviously, the bear mace is not something I would normally carry. That's only if you're going to be riding through a possible riot situation. Let's take a look at what a motorcycle bug out may look like. first instinct is to get to high ground and see what I'm dealing with. Just what I was afraid of. Goddamn zombies.